Welcome back to the Snod Pod with John Snodgrass, your mortgage resource where we're talking real estate, mortgages, title today, and beyond. I've got the president and owner of Milwaukee Title, Bruce Persch out of Muskego, joining us today. We're just going to talk some title. Thanks for joining
You're
us,
welcome.
Bruce.
You're welcome.
All right, let's jump right into it. I've been working with you for a while, Bruce, and do such a great job. So I just wanted to have you on and just kind of talk some title stuff. But before we get into the nitty gritty on title, I guess when and how did you get into the title business?
I've owned Milwaukee Title. My wife and I own Milwaukee Title together. We've been in business for, it'll be 27 years.
Oh, wow.
And I started working for other title insurance companies, doing different things from the searching the records down at the courthouse to examining to sales. And I thought I could do it a better way.
Okay.
So I chose to open up my own again. My wife came aboard probably about 8 or 9 years ago
Okay.
to take over. And like I said, we've been running it since.
So did you start Milwaukee Title 27 years ago?
I did start Milwaukee Title 7 years ago. Correct.
So before that, what were you doing? Were you doing title-related stuff, it sounds like?
I was doing title. I started from the bottom, basically searching the records. Actually, at that point in time, there was no computers to search the records. So we were actually down in Milwaukee County, down in the basement, searching those records and the track indexes and things like that. I always had an interest in kind of history. And again, searching those records, you're actually looking through the city of Milwaukee or the surrounding areas as far as the history, people that were involved in it, things like that.
So when you at that point, you're searching, so you're searching the title of the home to make, sure that there's no lien
Correct.
against the property, but you're doing it,
Right.
it's all paper back then.
It was paper back then and actually on fiche. So you're actually looking at the actual deeds or actually the handwritten records at that point in time. So you have to remember that title insurance is pretty much, we're searching the back records. So preventing things that could happen in the future. Whereas car insurance prevents things that are going to happen in the future. We're doing title insurance, and title insurance pretty much looks back to make sure that nothing pops up in the future that could cause you to not be able to sell your house.
So like nothing, if somebody's owned the house for 40 years, just making sure nothing.
Correct. No open mortgages, no liens that could affect your ability to sell the house in the future, as far as judgments, things like that.
Got it. All right. So this might go into the next question here, but I just thought I would start off with what I call, buyer's title insurance, which is called the loan policy. What exactly is the loan policy? Just like a basic, I guess, explanation or definition.
So a loan policy basically...
And who's that for, too?
The loan policy is for the lender. In this case, it would be for A-plus mortgage.
Yeah.
So what we're doing is we're making sure that loan, that A-plus mortgage is originating on your behalf, has what's called first position.
Okay.
So if something would happen that causes the property to be foreclosed on, that A-plus mortgage would get paid, or whoever servicing the loan at that point in time would get paid in full from anything that could have caused against the property being sold.
Got it. So if we, we're foreclosing on them, or a bank is foreclosing on somebody, so they stop making their payments, you want to be in first position, because when the bank goes and sells the house, first position lien holder, it's typically going to get their money back.
Right.
Or most compared to maybe, like a second lien holder, like I'm thinking like financial crisis, a lot of people had home equity lines of credit or second.
Because the last thing is if A-plus mortgage is borrowing somebody a lot of money, the last thing they want to do is have to pay off significant other people involved just to get their money back.
Got it.
Yep.
Got it. So that's why we got to be in first position.
Correct. Correct. Right.
Got it. Makes sense. Then, but I mean, is the loan policy, it's also beneficial to the buyer too, because, we're making sure that, hey, it's not a lien from a plumber that didn't get paid from the previous owner.
Correct. Again, we're searching the records of the individuals and of the property to make sure that anything that they could have done in the past is affecting the ability in the future.
So you're also searching, so you said something interesting. So it's not just the title on the property, you said you're also searching the buyer's record. Is that
correct?
Right.
So
just making sure that they don't have like a judgment that they're carrying forward.
Right.
IRS lien or something.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. Perfect. I got a bunch of questions. So I wrote them out here. And then, so now let's jump over to kind of what I call seller's title insurance or title policy. So that is called the owner's policy. What exactly is the owner's policy in the purchase transaction of single family home?
Right. So what happens is I'll talk about the whole process then.
Yeah.
So once the accepted offer is done and completed and we're set to go to closing, one of the things that's done as part of the offer to purchase, it's written in there, the seller has to provide a title insurance policy. It's called the owner's policy, okay?
Okay.
And that owner's policy, again, we're searching the public records of the house you're buying to make sure that once we get to the closing table, that all the mortgages, liens, judgments from the current owner are taken care of. So when that warranty deed is given to you, you know that you own that property free and clear except for the mortgage that you have on the property, and you have the ability to turn around and, if you want to sell the property immediately without any problems.
Okay. So just, again, making sure there's no liens or judgments, anything against the property. I guess question for you, I feel like this has come up, I've been doing this 19 plus years, where like a judgment has been paid, but for whatever reason, the previous title company or for whatever, it hasn't been removed yet. So like, I guess, what are you doing? Are you like just trying to satisfy? I feel like I hear that term, or how do you figure that out where it's been paid but it's still on there?
So one of the things is our job is to make sure that the deal's closed. I mean, we're going to do whatever we can at Milwaukee Title, my staff and I, to make sure that the deal is closed. So we're going to go put forth the extra effort then to hunt those things down. We run into a lot of problems where second mortgages haven't been satisfied, from current banks that have been sold 2 or 3 times and they've never satisfied their mortgage. Mm-hmm. So those are issues. Again, we make that extra effort to go and look at instead of depending on someone else. We want to clean it up right then and there so it doesn't come back in the future to hurt somebody. Or also we see a lot of private mortgage holders where people have given mortgages to individuals that it hasn't been satisfied. Again, we want to take this time right now, even though we're in a little bit of a time crunch, to take care of it and make sure that it's satisfied so it doesn't come and bite them in the butt at a later date.
Got it. And so like, I feel like I've been told by somebody on your team at some point, because like sometimes we'll get customers, maybe we're doing a refinance and they've got a zero balance home equity line of credit and they're just like, oh yeah, I'll go to the bank and close that out. And at some point I was told like, hey, don't do that because you might go pay it, attempt to close it out, but the bank doesn't remove it from title. They send you paperwork and then you're responsible to get rid of it. So we always say, hey, just let us, the mortgage company and our title company, take care of it at closing for you. It's easier, it's cleaner, you don't have to do anything. Is that a fair statement?
And the key is that they sign a letter basically saying that they're closing it out, okay? Because our concern is that if we don't have that letter showing that it's been closed out, that they could go and put additional funds back on that line of credit, which would affect the priority of the mortgage, which we had just talked about. So the key for us is to get a closeout letter at the closing, which will allow us to close.
But it's easier. Would you say that it's easier, like what I've been doing over the years, like, hey, in a situation where we're doing a refinance and they want to close out, hey, just let us take care of it.
Exactly.
The process. You don't do it before closing. Otherwise, it just...
Right. Well, and it's also, I think, we do this every day. We do this every day. So we have either the connections or we have the wherewithals to figure these things out. That's one thing with my staff is we all have a lot of experience that we know people within the business. We know things that have to get done. And we have a great source of knowledge to get them completed. So they don't have to worry about it. That's the last thing somebody wants to worry about.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you guys have been great. I mean, experience matters. So
Definitely.
Let the experts take care of it.
And that's why it's so hard to hire someone within my business because, and you know that, each time the transaction is different. You can teach the basics, but again, it comes with experience to try to figure that stuff out.
And you got to continually to ask questions.
Right. No, exactly. No, exactly.
So, I'm sorry, were you going to say something?
Nope.
All right. So, so you also handle the closings for us. So you're walking, the buyers, or if it's a refinance, the refinance customers through their loan paperwork at closing. I guess what are, two or the, because there's like, I don't know, tons of documents you're signing. What are the 2 or 3 most important documents, they're signing at the closing?
Well, excuse me. The first thing is, one of the things with Milwaukee Title is we love first-time home buyers when they come in and they see the excitement and things like that. So we really take forth the effort to take the documents and explain the documents per se. And it all depends on the customer, right? If you've had someone that's done this 5 or 6 times, they just want to highlight the really big pieces. Well, one of the big pieces is the note. And that shows pretty much it's your contract between you and the lender. And it lays out the terms, your interest rate, the conditions, how long your mortgage is for. So that's, like I said, that's the contract between you and your lender. Then there's the mortgage. And that's a 15, 20-page document that has a lot of boilerplate items in it that basically says if you don't make your payments on time, if you don't pay your taxes, keep insurance on it, that the lender has the right to foreclose on that contract that you just signed. That document gets recorded down at the Register of Deeds office in the county where you're purchasing the property along with the deed. So those are the 2 public records. All the other stuff, affidavits and things like that, are pretty much between you and the lender.
Yeah. Kind of just re-signing everything that I had them sign up front.
Right.
And
right.
you're going over the stuff.
Right. Exactly.
Making sure we're spelling the name right.
Right. No, exactly. Right. Like legal descriptions match everything that they're supposed to be, things like that. Correct.
All right.
We're kind of like the umpire in the transaction. We're the ones that pretty much, you have the buyer, the seller, the lender. We're the ones that kind of make sure that everyone has done their job.
Yeah.
And making sure that, like I said, once the property closes, that it's free and clear of everything.
Yeah.
And we disperse all the funds too. So all the money within the transaction comes into my trust account. And then we take that money and pay off everybody that's involved in the transaction, from the current mortgage holders to the brokers to the real estate agents to the seller. So that's what we do.
All right. That's an awesome explanation. You guys, and I just, I was at a closing with you at, Keller Williams, North Shore, and Kane, actually at Keller Williams, Tosa last week. I mean, you guys just do such a great job of really explaining it to the layman. And we always get compliments. So
appreciate that. So another thing is that all the hard work has been done ahead of time. You know what I'm saying? So we're basically there. We're now the face of the transaction. So we want to be as professional as possible. But like I said, the key is if everyone's done their job all the way up until that point in time, the closing should be a relatively anticlimactic event to the process. But again, we're there to make sure that everything gets flowed properly. So
it always does. So just a kind of nitty gritty question, I guess, that I had. So when you've got an unmarried couple buying a home, can you tell me the difference between taking title jointly versus tenants in common?
Okay. First of all, I just want to make a disclaimer that I'm not an attorney.
Okay, I should have said that.
I'm not an attorney. So again, this is based off of all my years of experience.
Yes,
okay?
Thank you.
So I want to make that. So there's a way to take it as tenants in common. Okay, so they're unmarried, correct?
Yeah, that's the hypothetical.
Right. So the couple is unmarried. So then, as tenants in common, they are taking it pretty much as each one owns 50%. So then, if something should happen to each one of those parties, that 50% goes to their current heirs. Okay. So there could be a spouse, it could be a child, it could be whatever. Okay. And then the other 50% goes to the other person.
Okay.
So if that person, they would have to work out some sort of negotiation to get that property back to them. So if you individuals, tenants in common is a little more cumbersome for them.
Got it. Okay.
So joint tenants, basically the property transfers over to them free or clear then.
So if one of the unmarried couple dies, it goes to the
as
other
joint tenants.
person.
Right.
Got it.
Right.
Okay. Got it. Thank you for that explanation. And then again, maybe attorney, but maybe with your experience, I guess, can you tell me maybe like the benefit or the reason why, somebody who is getting a revocable trust, would put the title in deed. And I'm actually working on mine, trying to finish it at some point here. Just wondering, because every now and then I get somebody with a revocable trust, just the benefits or reason why.
Usually those come in to us. It's usually part of a larger estate planning process, and they come to us pretty much all the way done and make that choice with revocable trusts.
Okay.
So I can't really tell you the difference on what the irrevocable or revocable trust.
Okay.
Again, as my understanding is, at least on my personal side, is again, it's all part of the estate planning, and it's what happens if you pass away, how easily it gets to the people that you want it to get to. Yeah. And again, the difference between the two, I don't feel comfortable talking about.
No, I had an attorney, real estate attorney, Patrick Hessling on, and he went into it, but I just,
I appreciate it.
We come into it. I just thought I'd ask you as well.
We do. No, we do.
Any differences in like a loan policy or owner's policy when it's a condo?
There are different endorsements, which basically are things that attach to the title insurance commitment.
Okay.
Those are mainly on the mortgage side of it that we see. Okay. But really, as far as that, there's no differences between a condo and a single family.
Got it. I think that anything else that you'd like to share, but I just kind of wanted to go, through what I feel are the basics of title. Am I missing anything or?
No, the key is that if you're selling a house, make sure that you have records that we can depend on if we have to go back and ask for questions or documentation. And if you're buying a house, we're there to protect you. We're pretty much there to help you get through the process and make it as least stressful as possible.
Yeah, and that is what you guys do best. It make it so much easier and less stressful because, real estate, when you're buying a home, can be stressful. I try to do my part to keep it, less stressful, and you guys do.
Well, we try to stay out of the way. I mean, we only want to be there if we have to solve a problem. And again, based on our experiences, there's a lot of things that we've seen, so we should be a real benefit to you and your customer.
Yeah. So. Well, hey, it's been great working with you, and I'm excited to continue to work with you. But thanks again for coming in, Bruce.
All right.
Bruce Persch, president and owner of Milwaukee Title. Thanks for coming in.
Well, I appreciate your business, too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Bruce.
Thank you.
This has been the Snod Pod with John Snodgrass, your mortgage resource, where we're talking title. We're talking real estate, mortgages, and beyond. Thanks for joining us.